the thoughts, views, and opinions of all the associates and that p.o.d host. It's coming from his brain, y'all. He's doing it all on his own, and it's just for entertainment. So don't you get going and feeling like something else is happening, because it's not.
Subscribing the channel.
He's just having a little fun, all right? Take it or leave it.
p.o.d. This is p.o.d.
Alright, y'all, what up? Welcome to p.o.d. This is what? Episode 21.
Oh my goodness, not 21.
Yeah, that's en français. Yeah, en français.
Oh,
I'm your pilot, the progenitor, and your pretty brown-eyed host, P. And today the P stands for, I'd say, pooped.
Not pooped.
I'm pooped. It's been a long damn weekend, weekday, whatever it is. And so I appreciate you jumping in here on the pod. And first, like they say, but make sure you watch your head and wipe your feet before you come in. And like your mama would always tell you, don't ask for nothing. Don't touch nothing, because you don't want nothing. All right, say. And we got somebody that actually knows the damn intro, because he watches all the episodes.
For sure. Yes.
We got to my right. He is not. If you know, he's already been on. If you watch like most people do, you have seen him before. We call him Doom Daddy. He's known by many other things, Quick Feet, all kind of stuff. But we call
a lot of monikers.
A lot of monikers. Even now, Godfather.
Oh, here we go. I love it.
That's something good. Right. So this is our boy Damon Logan, Doom Daddy.
Yes.
Man,
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
Man, and we glad to have you here again, man. So how you been? Tell us about what's been going on with you.
You know, just when I've seen so many episodes, seen the magic, and seeing this new studio that we're dealing with here. I mean, look here. I'm impressed.
The new digs,
man. Like, I'm just glad to be a part of the magic once again. Okay, because we've had Shantae on here.
Yeah.
We've had my wife on here. We had your wife on here.
Yeah.
We've had preachers. We've had teachers. We've had business women. Jacoy.
We had fitness instructors.
That was great. Autistic month. That was very inspiring.
I know mental health awareness.
Yes.
Yeah. Had Deandra Collins, extreme stepper.
Let me tell you something, man. It has been a boots on the ground. I'm looking at her. I'm like rolling. Look, this boots on the ground is getting out of control.
I like it.
But I love it though, man. Shout out.
Yeah, man. So we've had a great time here on the pod, man.
Yes.
And even then, your episode Church Search that you were on, it was a magnificent episode. If you could hear it.
If you could hear it. But
I mean, you needed magnified ear 3000.
You had to zoom in a little bit on that, boy.
Yeah, you had to zoom. You had to zoom your listening ear in for real. Had to make sure it was very quiet. Nothing else could be happening.
That's right.
If you want to hear it, because we were in the beginning stages of the p.o.d, so we weren't. We didn't have great mics.
Yeah,
I think. What we had one mic in the middle.
It was one mic. Yeah, one mic in the middle. That's right.
Yeah, we had one mic in the middle. We still had the old sitting to where we were over at my desk in the corner.
Right. That's right.
Just because we didn't have any of the proper tools to make it happen, but we were just in the beginning of our journey.
It was the Chitlin circuit moment for P's podcast.
Yeah, man.
Now we've elevated.
We have elevated, and now we got some nice little meager accommodations. Even now are a little better.
Now I told you I'm a subscriber also now, don't you?
Yes.
I'm not just watching and just pimping you all for your free intellectual, knowledge. I'm actually a monthly subscriber to the P's podcast, sir.
And this guy, he subscribes. He does, and so we talked about Doom in the pocket. So I started a second, kind of a spinoff.
Right.
From p.o.d, we call it the Pocket.
Right. Okay.
So the Pocket is more of where it's kind of me, it's personal, it's at the desk, it's kind of one-on-one.
Yeah.
And so it's an opportunity just for me to let my hair down more. Where p.o.d is more about conversations with other people
Right. Okay.
and about them. The Pocket is more just me, personally. And
Love
so
it.
I call people and talk about people. And so saying all that to say, we talked about you as a subscriber,
Oh, okay.
as a financial subscriber.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, so you got to listen to episode 2. It gives you a lot of kudos. I clipped it up and I was gonna send it to you, but I got caught up and didn't send it.
No, I will listen to that one.
So yeah, make sure you listen to episode 2 of the Pocket, episode 1 and 2. And if you don't already know, we're here now on the new page. So and it's good to also talk to your subscribers and have direct feedback.
Right.
That with the new page, hell, he couldn't find us.
Right.
He couldn't find us. So if you don't know, quick story, we've moved from the old page where we had, I put a lot of years into that page.
Yeah.
And built up a nice kind of thing. Fast forward, long story, less long, we had to move to this page where we are now. So I'm trying to get it in your algorithm and asked because I knew I had mentioned you in the episode and you hadn't said anything.
Right.
That's why I figured something was wrong.
Okay, it makes sense now. Yeah,
So you had watched the initial episode because I sent you that one,
There you
but
go.
we weren't in your algorithm.
There you
So
go. So that's what's going on.
what we learned is now, and we'll put it up there somewhere, somewhere. You now have to go to @LloydR LLC, and then
Yes.
that will help you find p.o.d. So we'll put that link there. It'll be in the comment section also. So just go click that link and then get full of that in your new algorithm.
No
All
doubt
right?
about it.
All
No
right,
doubt
so
about it.
let's move on to P's News. So in P's News, there's just been a lot going on and several topics that are here. And so let me kind of level set what we'll do.
Okay.
Because everybody knows p.o.d, especially people like you that have been here, it is a certain kind of format we use. So that format is great for people that have been on, that have never been on.
Right.
So Dune has been on, so it'll be foolish to try to act like he hasn't done the game section
doubt.
already.
No doubt.
Or to see, I guess we could see if your answers lined up from last time.
But that'd be whack, though.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be whack. Yeah.
Right. And so what we do have, though, are a lot of us moments.
Yes.
So we'll tell a lot of stories. So we'll just kind of talk more. So we'll do P's News, which is the stories. We may do Peep and P's, which are some of your things. And so that will keep the conversation going. But then I'll have just general questions that we'll discuss. And if it's not too late, I may call somebody because we got a little late start. So here we go. First one is, I sent you this. Did you see Howard's graduation?
Yes, I did see that when you sent it to me. Yes. That was, yes.
Howard, everybody know it is graduation season.
No doubt.
And so everybody's graduating. All these lovely, wonderful pictures.
Congratulations to the graduates.
Yes, to the
congratulations,
graduates.
yes.
So whatever level you are, I got 2 graduating. Oh
Wow,
my God,
that is right.
Yeah, I have a senior and I have a pre-K that's graduating from pre-K. He's going into kindergarten next year.
Oh,
So I have
it.
2 graduations to
My
attend.
godson. That's great.
And then my nephew Alec is also graduation.
That's right.
Graduating. Salute. So graduation season. So in college, Howard had his graduation. It has been making these rounds, and Howard, wonderful HBCU.
Oh, yeah.
Salute. It is the founding place of many great fraternities and sororities.
No doubt.
That one of being mine. The only fraternity that I really acknowledge, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Kind of partial.
I am partial. I'm partial. It's a perfect goal. But they had their graduation, and would we have it that Toni Braxton's son graduated from Howard University?
That's right.
So she went there in support, as any parent would.
No doubt.
To the graduation. But what she had on was more of the part of the conversation.
Hoochie or us, let's just say that.
Wow, Tony.
Tony,
What were you thinking?
what were you thinking, buddy?
What were you thinking? So, dude, well, I mean, if you pulled up and you saw Tony Braxton, I mean, did she get a pass because she's Tony Braxton?
Well, I mean, Tony is just, number one, she's aging like fine wine.
I think she's 57 or something.
Oh, that's incredible. So, and it's tough when you got a hot mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because I had a normal mom. I had a normal mom, so I had to worry about that. But anytime you got a hot mom like that,
when your mom is the baddie.
Oh my God! But I mean, my question that I have for you is: she trying to pull attention away from her son intentionally or unintentionally?
That's a good question, because I had some of the same thoughts.
Right.
If it's your son's day, what are you thinking? Now, hey, if you got it, flaunt it.
No doubt.
And hey, I'm sure everybody was looking, but I think anybody other than Tony Braxton, they would have fried her.
But look, it's a time and a place for everything. I think that's the issue. Because I mean, can she pull it off? Yes.
Yes.
Is it the right place? I say no.
I would agree.
Now, did you see the Felicia Rashad on Breakfast Club?
I did.
And so she would have definitely turned her nose up on that one.
Yeah, she would have. I mean, Felicia Rashad holds the title of America's Mom.
America's Mom.
Yeah, and she holds it well, because she holds herself in these esteemed standards.
Esteemed standards, man.
Wow, that we could only. I mean, that women can only try to get to. Well, I guess Tony didn't watch much of that. Maybe she was writing songs and singing in her child group.
I'm sure it's had to be that, because I mean, Tony, like I said, she pulled it off, but man, it was just, she was leaning on her son. It was just, you can tell all eyes on her. It was just the wrong time.
Yeah, it was a little classless. Just a little bit. I mean, if anything, let it be his day.
Right.
Because it was his graduation. I mean, golly, Tony. We know you, Tony.
And you've been in the spotlight for so long, you got to tone it down
just a little bit.
Because another good example too, Eminem. I mean, he literally, I think he like sat in the back with a disguise or something for, what is the daughter's, Kaylee? I think her name.
Yeah.
He was
Haley.
Haley, that's what it was. He was very intentional on not being seen.
I like that.
And I think that's, as a celebrity parent, I think you need to be in that zone.
Yeah.
But think about it too. Tony is kind of, it's the later years.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we still respect you and love you, Tony.
Love you, Tony.
We know you still got it.
Still got it, girl.
We know.
Still got it.
But you don't have to show us at the college graduation.
And it was a negligee outfit. It looked like it was a short skirt. It was a see-through.
Was see-through.
My eyes were burning. I'm like, gee, Willikers.
I'm like, Jessica, do you see what this woman got on? I can't.
Come on,
I can't believe that, man. That woman had me. Good Lord.
I mean, I showed Misha, and she's from Houston. Even she blushed.
Even
And it's hard to get Houston people to blush. You know that. They've seen everything in Houston.
Yeah, nothing is out of bounds.
Nothing in Houston.
No
zoning and no kind of scruples in Houston. But anyway,
none. Golly. Wow. So I know. Have you heard about I know you could have not missed the Carmelo Anthony story.
Yeah. No. Yes. It's very tragic.
Okay. So just to kind of level set, Carmelo Anthony, Frisco ISD.
Yes.
He is currently out of jail, but he unalived, had an altercation with one of his teammates or classmates or something like that.
A bit of both, I believe.
Somebody accosted him. They got into an altercation. He pulled out a weapon, stabbed him.
Yes.
The young man did not make it.
Yes.
So Carmelo Anthony goes to jail. He's now out on bail. They were both seniors, and so now it's graduation season, and it is being questioned: should he be able to graduate? Should he be able to walk?
Now that's a tough one.
It is, and so you can look at it from a lot of different perspectives. And so we already have the knowledge of what the school decided. So the school put out a statement in saying that no student that has a current pending felony will be able to participate in graduation.
Yes.
So they're saying he can't come. So what are your thoughts kind of on that?
Well, I mean, it's not so much about him not being able to walk. I think the security concerns, to be honest with you.
Yep, that's a good point.
I think they would have to do all kind of extra measures just to protect him and the family there.
Right.
Because this thing has been a firestorm.
It has, and you bring up a very good point. And so I thought it was a good call.
I think it was a good
because
call.
you not only have to protect him, but you have to protect all the other people there, the other students, and you, just because of the spotlight, you want just the regular Joe student to have a memorable graduation.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be able to come and have it normal. People walk across the stage, take my dumb pictures, with my family and that kind of, and have that moment without this firestorm.
Because you got to keep in mind too, with him, his family, I think they're either renting or leasing a home because they just moved to the area, I believe.
Right.
But they've had to move from there where they live to actually a whole nother location to try to get away from all the hate mail and all the
death threats and
yes,
like now people are being crazy with that death threats and all that kind of stuff. But okay,
and let me add some too. Also, the curious thing about this situation too is that they're actually on a crowdfunding site also where they're getting donations. Okay,
so Carmelo
Anthony's family, they're for legal fees.
Okay, yeah.
Now, something curious is going on also, and I'm sure your audience will know about it too. A woman named Shiloh Hendricks, she also is on there also. Now, let me tell you about Shiloh Hendricks.
Please.
Shiloh Hendricks is a woman that was seen on video using the N-word to a little 5-year-old autistic child.
I saw that.
Now, curious enough, her crowdfunding is already up to about 700,000.
Yes,
and it's actually beating out Carmelo, but they're on the same site. And it's very interesting how we're seeing this whole turn in America where these people are actually they're out supporting some woman that called a little 5-year-old autistic black child the N-word.
Racial slur.
Then where Carmelo, like it or not, he's trying to raise legal fees for his freedom.
Yeah, because he has the right to a fair trial.
Just like Kyle Rittenhouse did. Which did something very similar. Over $1.5 million in legal fees he raised. $1.5 million.
And he went to the incident with a gun.
Looking for trouble.
Where Carmelo Anthony was at a track meet.
No doubt.
So, and I don't want to get into the particulars the case.
No doubt.
What we're on is more of should he have the right to go walk? Which I believe, we both believe that the school made the right call.
I believe so too.
Now, some people were saying ignorantly that he shouldn't get his diploma. That's ludicrous. Do you know the guy? Like he was an A student.
Yeah, he's ludicrous.
So it's like, no, he still earned his diploma.
Earned it.
He may not walk, but he earned that diploma.
No doubt about it.
He should get it.
Yes.
Because people, you are guilty. I mean, innocent until proven guilty. So he's been charged. He's out on bail. So what if throughout the whole thing they have the trial and then he's innocent?
Exactly.
Cool. He didn't walk, but then you didn't give him his diploma. He didn't get his degree.
Yeah, that's just asinine.
That's crazy.
That's asinine.
So people just get so wild when it comes to that kind of hate thing. They stop thinking. Stop thinking. So yeah, okay. Well, that was pretty much. I like that. The thoughts on that. So let's go to then Peeping Peas. So in Peeping Peas, let me see.
I love this segment. I love this segment also.
So this one, it got real big. So we talked about this in the episode 2 of The Pocket. I asked the question because I saw it somewhere else, and the question was, is it sassy to lead a group chat?
Oh yeah, I love.
So we so in that episode, Call Him Up, we call Wizop Comedy. He's one of my frat brothers, and he had some comments. He was saying it's like, people leave like LeBron when he pack up and take the briefcase.
Oh my God.
So it ended up, and it's funny. So it's funny, kind of like how media and social media work, how people pick up things. So a lot of people didn't pick it up from the podcast. They picked it up from the post.
Yes.
So the post went crazy.
The post went crazy.
The post was crazy. People just, commenting. There's always some back and forth about people saying no, people saying protect their peace. What do you think about, man, the group chat or leaving the group chat?
I mean, look here. There's people on Facebook right now going off right now, and I'm still following them. So I think it's definitely, you're sassy. You got to feather up your butt, and you need to ride the wave until the wave goes down or it knocks you over. That's what I say. So if you leave it, you are a sassy ginger. I'll just say that. That's my take on it there.
Yeah, to all y'all people protecting your peace, you are sassy.
You are sassy.
Now, I've left a couple, so.
Well, you're sassy then.
Whatever.
I'm protecting my peace.
Protecting my peace. My peace. I hear that.
Oh, man. It's funny. That's funny, man. Okay. So, let me see. Did somebody else put something there that I liked? Nah. Oh. Hold on. Talk about something, dude.
Yeah, no. I tell you one thing about it too. I love the men talk extras that you're doing. I think.
Okay.
I think those are really cool. And really, I really encourage all men, because I mean, you're one of those popular guys. You probably got 3,000, Facebook friends, but probably more than that. I haven't looked. I'm not a stalker, but the thing about it, the men's talk extras are so much fun because it kind of puts you in that whole space of what is the responsibility of men, how do men act in certain situations, and what are men trying to prove overall. I tell you one thing about men talk that I like too, just to go on a slight tangent.
Okay.
With my marriage, and I told Pullum this before.
Don't get yourself in trouble?
Oh, never in trouble. Never in trouble. But the thing about it though is that I've learned not to compare my marriage to somebody else, because what works for somebody else may not work for you.
That's true.
And it goes everything from bank accounts to how many times you leave out during a week, month, or quarter to you cannot judge. And I learned that from men's talk. It really helped me. It's like I knew it, but it kind of, when you hear other men talk, it validates it.
Yeah, to hear
it really to hear that point of whatever works for you and your spouse. If it's working for you guys, guess what? It's right. Carry on.
Exactly.
And I think that's what Men Talk does. It's a place where you can really come and really be able to hear other men in different situations, from being single to being married, and be able to kind of get a different take, and also mentor younger men, which I really enjoyed it also. Because one thing about marriage, when you get into marriage, there's no playbook.
No, none at all. And we generally only, we may see you a lot of times you see the argument, but you rarely ever see the resolution.
No doubt about it.
You'll see that from one, they went from arguing to now they're being nice to each other.
No doubt about it.
As children watching your parents. That's just generally what you saw.
And like I heard a gentleman say that, when you're baking a cake, you can't take the eggs and flour out of it. You got to take it as is.
As is. Because
how you cut that boy up is how it's going to come. That's it.
That's true, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So what Dune is referring is Men Talk was something that I started. Everybody kind of knows that story. So if you haven't heard it, you got to go find it on your own. But Men Talk Extras became an extension of Men Talk. So we only are on for an hour from 7 to 8 p.m. East Central Standard Time.
Yes.
And so at 8, we're done. I turn the Zoom off. I don't even give them a chance to sit on there and laugh and congregate. I do my dismount, which is the end, about 5 minutes out. 8 o'clock, I turn it off.
Right.
Well, people still wanted to talk because, generally how things go, people have more to say towards the end. So
they get fired up.
People start getting fired up and then chatty catty. And then at the end, it's like, well, hey, it's over. Well, people still wanted to talk. So I started a group called Men Talk Extras.
So that's where you got that from. Okay, I was wondering where that came from.
Because I couldn't ever think of a form or how to do it. Because, I love to talk. and I talk to people, but I really don't like people like that. So I never.
Got such an oxymoron. Sir.
I know.
You
So men talk is great, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be in this group chat talking to people.
No doubt.
I did want to start a group me and be just talking in there because I didn't want something else to check.
I'm part of 5 group me's already.
See, it doesn't work. So I just wanted to put a lot of people spend their time on Facebook. So I said, well, let me start a men talk extras group on Facebook.
No doubt.
So if you got questions kind of during the week or you got something you want to talk about, drop it in there. Somebody will respond at some point, and then that was it.
Love it. I love it.
And then so I do the men talk extras. And so tonight we had a men talk.
Yes.
And we talked about leadership. So the topic was how men can lead in an opposition when I'm sorry, how men can lead when they have opposition to what their plans are.
Exactly.
And so with that, what do you you said some things you kind of got from it. How do you feel in essence when you have those conversations with your wife? Yeah. And she's not always on the same page.
Well, I mean, the thing about it, one thing that I've learned, I mean, I've been married 10 years as of November last year, and just in that period of time, in my marriage, some people, their wife is right off in the very beginning. They jump out, and it's all, everything you say goes, things they do. I know for my wife, it was definitely she had to see me in action. Yeah. As being that man, that godly man. And I'll pivot slightly because I just came up last night. When we talk about the Proverbs 31 woman, a lot of, when you read
virtuous
woman, when you read that, a lot of what makes the virtuous woman reflects on the man that is in the household. So the virtuous woman actually cannot be unless the man is actually leading out. So when coming to my marriage, for instance, now 10 years later, my wife looks at me more as a lead and respects more of what I'm saying. Why? Because I haven't been out here wilding out. So it's allowing a space for her to be that Proverbs virtuous woman that we all really want. But yet, if the man is not leading out, she really cannot be it.
That's true. And a part of what we talked about from the leadership standpoint is that leadership is built off of trust.
No doubt.
And you have to gain that trust daily.
No doubt.
And then build that trust over time. Because like you said, everybody doesn't start out, hey, I'm just giving you trust 100%. Because what we talked about also was that there are reasons why your wife may not trust you. It may have nothing to do with you. No
doubt about it.
It could be trauma from that she's had in what she saw as a child in her parents' relationship, or what she dealt with from other men growing up and that kind of thing. So it's not always you. So you have to, in essence, kind of build a certain level of trust and then do it over and over and over again.
Right.
And then at some point you get to where they may, buck back a little bit.
Well, I heard Shannon. I know Shannon Sharp not very popular right now, but Shannon Sharp on one of his night podcasts, what he said with Chad Ochocinco was that some people get cut in another relationship and they bleed on you.
Ooh,
and I said, ooh, that is so nasty. And I think a lot of times we have to be the stitches and antiseptic to our spouses.
Okay.
And if you're not ready to do that, I say you're not ready to be, number one, in a relationship, and number two, you're not ready to be definitely in a marriage.
That's true. Because, and something I said was that ultimately we're gardeners.
No doubt about it.
He puts you in a garden to cultivate a garden.
No doubt about it.
And so ultimately you are supposed to prune things, fertilize things, and help things grow.
And cut.
That's all what a master gardener does.
That's right.
And so your wife, you are supposed to help cultivate her.
That's right.
And prune her and help her grow, because if she's disseminating that down to your family,
that's
children,
a whole nother deal.
Y'all supposed to be working together.
In the garden.
Yeah, I'll take you
where temptation feels so. I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought about that.
I'll take good care of you.
It's what a man is supposed to do.
Hey, Barry.
Rest in peace, Barry White.
Rest in peace, Barry White.
Sexy teddy bear, big boy. There
Man,
you go. Love it.
So we talked about a lot on Men Talk. So
That's
men,
great.
we really encourage you to jump on. There's a different spectrum. You got guys that have been married.
Yes.
So 2 years up to you just been married over 10 years. Yeah. We've had gentlemen that's been on there married 20 and 30 years.
Yes.
Older gentlemen, younger, the whole gambit. So you can get answers or perspectives to your questions, because that's really what you want. Everybody's going to make their own decision.
And before you go to the next segment, before we wrap this up, I just want to say this, that the great thing about Men Talk is that you're not just getting talked about relationships. You're getting talked about your finances. You've had financial people on the call.
We have.
You actually have had actual, they're not psychologists, but they're counselors. They say
you've
actually had counselors on the call.
On there, yeah.
So it's a space where you've been doing it now for 4 or 5 years? 3 years?
Yeah.
So the great thing about Men Talk, and I really encourage men to jump on, and women need to encourage their men to jump on to it, because it's not a session about beating people up on where you are. It's actually a very open space where you can actually kind of filter out some issues you're actually dealing with,
right.
And it's a non-judgment space, and we pride ourselves on that on Men Talk. So that's the last plug I'll say for it.
Man, appreciate that.
No doubt.
Just jump on, get a feel for it. You can remain anonymous.
Yes.
However you want to do it.
You ain't got to turn your camera on.
You don't have to turn your camera on. Don't have to put your name on. Just sit back and listen. If you like it, join. If you don't, cool. And that's my biggest thing. I only take an hour of your time.
That's it.
So I'm not going to get you on and keep you 2 hours.
That's it.
All right. So next, man, that was pretty good, Doom. Pretty good. Like that. And that P's news.
P's news.
So we have to, pivot as another P, because we can't, as we said, do it like we normally would, because this is not a normal cast. So what I'm going to do is just throw out questions that I've been having.
Oh,
so I'm
wow.
going to open
it's like a firehouse kind of question.
Yeah, it's a firehouse. So what I want to talk to you about is this business that you've been having going on for all of these years.
Yeah.
That has been kind of like in the tuck. Like, we know you do it, but it's kind of like Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy.
He ain't got no job.
Tommy ain't got no job.
He ain't got no job. Tommy ain't got no job.
But he always talking about the job.
He ain't got no damn job. No, he ain't got it.
So, Doom be always talking about this job that and this business that he got, but it's always kind of like Batman shadowy-ish.
Yeah.
So, tell us about the Hemp No, man.
Yeah, no, the Hemp No, and I appreciate the opportunity to really talk about it. The Hemp No began back on 2019, actually.
Wow.
And it really all started with my cousin Eric Logan. God bless the dead.
Yeah, rest in peace, Eric.
He actually introduced me into the actual cannabis space.
Okay.
And my story has been well documented on P's podcast, and really anytime I get up I always do a testimony to talk about it, about my kidney transplant. Okay. But the interesting thing about it, the same month that I went into the hospital, which was December of 2017, he actually was diagnosed with colon cancer.
Wow.
And so that's why I loved what you did about a month ago, really encouraging men, get your colonoscopy. You gotta go get it.
Let him.
Because Eric Logan, he is a like Logan said, let him have his way. Let him have his way.
Let him tickle that.
KY.
You can do it blood. I'll quit scaring y'all.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's blood test.
It's a blood
right?
test now. I just want to scare a couple people.
It's
Go
blood
ahead, dude.
test. But Eric Logan, he was actually diagnosed with severe diverticulitis, which means that you have a lot of pods in your colon.
Wow.
He was diagnosed with it, but guess what? He never went back. And fast forward, he ended up getting colon cancer stage 4, and he literally lasted 2 years, and then he passed.
Wow.
But during that 2 years, the cannabis industry, and of course, and I say proudly, I am a Christian, but the cannabis industry, what I was able to see through his battle of cancer, colon cancer, is that when he went to chemotherapy, he would be good with steroids because they inject you with steroids in the beginning,
right,
to kind of get you over that session. But normally after about 2 to 3 days later, you start developing sores in the mouth, severe pain,
right,
and a lot of different issues. Well, the thing about it, CBD and cannabis and also THC are great remedies when it comes to pain for cancer sufferers.
Wow.
So through the Hypno, I've been able to really help individuals and kind of consult with them through their cancer diagnosis, also those dealing with epileptic seizures when it comes to actual CBD, which actually was legal in 2018 through the 2018 Farm Bill, Donald Trump's first time through. So that's what made it legal.
Trump, okay, we'll see.
He did something good.
He did something good.
So
now they're trying to take it back.
Exactly. Now they're trying to take it back.
Texas, so come on vacation, leave on probation.
And with Texas, what they're doing, and everybody's all curious about this, I don't think it's going to pass because what's going on is that it's really used a lot, and it's in the bloodline of, let's say, the state of Texas and really the nation, because it's such a great, cannabis is great to soothe, it's great to calm down with. Can it be abused? Sure.
Yes.
Like anything else. But the thing about it, though, it also is a great medicine that you can actually help you through your illness also.
I agree.
And the cool thing about it, many say, for instance, and this is some of the things that they say, when you talk about weed, it actually is a weed, okay?
Right.
And when you talk about THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, okay? That's what it is. When you start, that's the THC. The different chemicals in there, they're natural. And some even say that when Jesus' feet was washed with oil, it actually was with THC oil.
Hold on,
yeah.
dude.
Oh yeah, I took you for a loop, didn't I?
Go.
So when they cracked on oil, and then Judas said, we can save that for somebody else.
I'm not going there with you.
It is.
I'm not going there with you.
It is. So some saying Jesus had little happy feet. I'm trying to tell you.
Weed and wine.
Weed and wine. I'm trying to tell you.
Water to wine, and then
Jesus Jesus Christ superstar.
Hey, it's from the earth.
It's from the earth.
Said it, not me.
But the thing about it, just to put a capper on it, my website is the Hempno THEHEMPKNOW.com. I also have a consultant on there also. I've been able to help many people through our company, L Smart CBD.
Yeah.
Been able to help many people actually use some of the products that we have when it comes to CBD oil, when it comes to the actual topical that you can use.
The tinctures.
The tinctures and all that stuff, right? And gummies. So the whole misnomer of marijuana,
that's what I wanted
CBD,
to get into. Yeah,
we need to pass that aside.
So then, what are some of the pros you get without the negatives? So if with marijuana you get the relaxed feeling, you get the sometimes the euphoric feeling, takes away pain, but some people don't like the high part. Some people don't like maybe the hangover. So what are some of the differences there with hemp?
Yeah, so the great thing about hemp, as I stated, is legal in all 50 states. So the great thing about hemp is that you talk about things like CBN, you have you have CBG, you have different types of cannabinol that actually can
cannabinol.
Yes, and that's what CBD stands for.
Okay.
So you got tetrahydrocannabinol, then you got CBD, which is cannabinol.
Okay.
So you have different types of actual cannabinol that can really help you with whatever you're dealing with. So there's been a lot of great work that's been done at Cook's Children's Hospital.
Okay.
With coming people that have epileptic seizures. Okay, so that epileptic seizures can actually been calmed and been tamed by using CBD, which is legal everywhere.
So people can get, in essence, the positive effects without the high feeling.
And that's the key. So for those that are afraid of the psychoactive part of THC,
okay,
you don't get that with straight CBD. Okay, and I encourage anybody to have any questions, reach out to me, and then I can definitely help you with the different strains and things like that are legal. And that's what I tell about Christians, that you worry about buying something on the corner. No, the CBD is right there in your store.
Exactly.
And it's there to be used for your benefit. If you have problems going to sleep, I have older people that as you get older, sometimes it's hard for you to go to sleep, or you go to sleep earlier and you wake up. I have people right now that I help currently right now where they actually have sleep aids with the actual CBD that are able to make you feel, and when you take it, you'll take it, go to sleep, and wake up, feel fresh, ready for the next day.
I like it, man.
So we got to when things are legalized, and you can start looking into it more. So, and let me just say this real quick. CBD, when you think about the whole thing about hemp actually was actually made illegal because you can make concrete out of it, you can make paper, you can make of course medicine. So what happened was they actually made it illegal because of the many benefits of the paper mills. They want to block it. Lumber, they want to block it. It was made illegal because it was too universal and too profitable and too easy to grow.
Right.
Keep in mind when back in 1770, every farmer that grew cotton had to grow 2 acres of hemp also.
Really?
So when you think of Thomas Jefferson, you think of George Washington. These people George Washington actually had 3 acres of hemp that he had to maintain just to keep. The government made sure to have that because they would not let them farm other ones unless they had hemp growing on their properties.
I like that.
So this was
some little history.
So you look it up. When it comes to hemp, it's part of the foundation of America.
Right. That
was made illegal because, of course, America is capitalistic, and they want to shut out
from it.
Yes. So that's my take. So the hemp, please go to the web page. Reach out to me. I'm definitely here to help and answer questions. And I'm excited that we're actually opening a dispensary in New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah. So tell me a little bit about that project.
Yeah, so it's really a project that we've been working on for the past year. That it'll be in Clovis, New Mexico, which New Mexico is actually right now. There's 39 medical marijuana states. And then there's 24 recreational marijuana states in America right now. And just the other day, Pennsylvania tried it, but they did not go through. But we're seeing a rise go up with medicinal and THC, recreational rather. But in Clovis, we're opening up a 15,000 square foot facility where right now we're
15,000.
Yeah, right now we're 80% completed with our 2,000 square foot dispensary.
Wow.
And then we're going to move into a 12,000 square foot actual indoor grow. And I've
it big.
Yeah, so and really excited. So we're going to be able to be in an area where we're going to grow our own product and be able to infuse that into our own dispensary and to the parts all through New Mexico. So we're very excited. Very excited about that.
Man.
So that'll be open here in the next 90 days. So very
doing
excited about that.
Big things. We got a round of applause. That one, Doom Daddy. Hold on, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
We talking about doing big things. Yeah.
So when you see Firehouse Cannabis pop it up on you, don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised that you've already spoken to one of the people that have gotten that going, that is backing that thing. So you know the people involved.
No doubt.
Yeah, I like that, dude, man. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
And the cool thing with working with my cousin Eric, he showed me a lot of skills that I've been able to really use with the hemp node. Like currently, we work with a farm in Syracuse right now that we secured 6,000 pounds of actually marijuana last year.
Wow!
So we're able to actually help this family. That the cool thing about this family, just real quick, his grandfather came through Ellis Island, and they came there and really used the American dream. And first it was a dairy farm, and then they eventually turned it into a cannabis farm about 5 years ago.
Nice.
And so they were able to, they actually through a couple connections reached out to me, and I was able to actually connect with another producer in the New York State. And we're actually able to do it. It was about 6,000 pounds last year. This year we're probably looking at maybe more than 8,000 pounds. And then hopefully we're kind of going higher and higher with more higher strains, different streams. So we're pretty excited.
I like that.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So do you think with Texas, do you think they'll ever go fully legal?
I think they will eventually. It's going to be first gambling, and then
once you get gambling
going, then you'll be able to go and let it go.
That makes sense.
Because with the Republicans, they act like they're real scary about it, and you can look at John Boehner as a great example where he did most of the damage against marijuana legalization, but as soon as he left House as Speaker, he now walks around with a green tie. It's probably one of the top marijuana investors in the nation, making over hundreds of millions of dollars every year.
Wow.
So it's one of those deals where we deal with it from a moral issue when it's really not. I say it's more of a moral issue not to use it responsibly and when you actually have issues that you're dealing with.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, dude, we appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
We got this subject matter expert here, the Shmee.
Thank you.
From the Hemp Node. So make sure that you go and visit that. We'll have information here and down in the comments section. So you go check out the Hemp Node.
Thank you.
This is sPodcast.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we for a good transition into talking about IPA. So you're a beer person, and so you like craft beer. So beer has never been really my thing, but that's been something you've been on. So you've been on it for years too. So now with the influx of now it's trendy to drink craft beer now. So tell me about kind of your journey, how I got started and your thing.
Yeah, I mean, you think about, it's interesting enough, Samuel Adams, when you think about them, they was one of the first popular craft beers.
Really?
When you think about craft beer and the technology with it, it's really been around forever. Okay, but Samuel Adams, you could really say they're the ones that people really weren't really respecting or taking a look at, and they would have seasonal craft beers, and people even back then they were so high on Budweiser, Bud Light, Coors Banquet, and Coors Light. But Samuel Adams is one of those craft beers that was very popular in the Northeast.
Gotcha. Okay.
And on the East Coast, but they really led the explosion of really craft beer and the brands across the nation.
Wow.
Okay. And really what's really coming down with craft beers is that you've gone everything from, when you think about the IPA we're talking about. Okay. IPA stands for Indian Pale Ale. Okay. And what IPAs do is they have a higher hops and not a lot of barley.
Okay. So what's the difference?
So flip it around. So Budweiser, and the interesting thing about Budweiser, as we all know, when it comes to refrigeration, of course, a black man created the refrigeration, and Budweiser bought the patent off of him to be able to transport their beer out to St. Louis. Okay. When you think of Budweiser is going to be 80% barley, 20% hops. Okay. Whereas their IPA is going to be 80% hops, and 20% barley. That's just something good to think about, okay? Gotcha. So, okay. So when you think about it, it's going to be a lot more of a pungent kind of taste, but yet smooth. And then you start getting to the double IPAs and triple IPAs.
Right. So where there's really more an acquired taste.
It's more acquired taste and a lot more ABV, which is alcohol by volume. Okay?
Gotcha. Where you can drink the one and be out of there.
Right. So when you think about craft beers actually became even more popular when more distilleries of your whiskeys and things like that. And what's happened is that a lot of them have kind of segued off into the beer industry also, and it's made it a lot more competitive, even in North Texas. When you start talking about things like Deep Ellum, you start talking about Revolver, which is out there.
Yeah.
You start talking about Bar, which is in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you start talking about Turning Point, which is one of my favorite ones out in Bedford. That's where I go to. And the one you took me to also, I forgot the name of it, but you took me one also.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But I can't remember also. But the Turning Point Brewery is one of my favorite ones. And beer is something that it's an acquired taste. But once you get it, I encourage everybody to dive into the IPA, because I like it because it's a cleaner taste and it's a lot more varieties to it.
And so are there a lot of crafters, I don't know if that's what they're called, that make them in Texas?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. It's been an explosion in the last 10 years.
And they usually kind of make and name their own kind of beer, right?
Yeah. So like a good thing. I was my cousin Eric. You heard me talk about him earlier. Dogfish Head is a popular also one. After Sam Adams, Dogfish Head, it really came out with a popular, they have 120, Dogfish 120, Dogfish 60, and it's gotten even so far where you go to Total Wine and you'll have to do like a sign-up sheet, and when they come in, it's one bottle.
Really?
Like a 12-ounce bottle, and guess what? It's $20 per bottle.
$20
per bottle.
One bottle of beer.
And they only do a batch, let's say 4 times a year.
Wow.
And when you drink it, you'll understand why. Because it's smooth. And now, of course, I've been doing it for so long. I hate to sound like an alkie, but I've been doing it so long, I know certain places to go where I can get it pretty quick as soon as it goes. But, I mean, when you think about craft beering and when you think about America as a whole, America is all about industrialization and also capitalization.
Yeah.
And how can we make things not monopolized? So that's the spirit of craft beers across the country.
Yeah, yeah.
So now when I go to like I was in Las Vegas, I told the bartender, I don't want anything else. Give me the Las Vegas IPA. And I get in Las Vegas, of course, Las Vegas, I mean, it's a world city. Of course, 30% down in tourism since Trump, but that's a whole other conversation.
Wow.
And they're feeling it also.
I'm sure.
But he pulled up maybe 7 IPAs they had in Las Vegas alone.
Wow. Yeah. And so that's kind of like supporting the neighborhood. And
there you go. I'm all about that.
I like that.
I'm all about that.
Okay, dude. I appreciate that. Was a nice little craft beer section. We get it all. Oh, next. Another thing you are an expert on is cigars.
Yes.
So give me, man, now, people, again, this is another craze. People on this cigar craze. So now cigar, wherever. Everybody's smoking cigars now.
No doubt.
This dude back in college had a humidifier. And it looked like a little easy bake oven.
Oh yeah,
that's what it looked like. A little small little thing with a little light in.
Humidor, humidor,
with a little blue light in there, and I don't know what the hell it was, because I still have never gotten into cigar, because I get the biggest headaches. I punk out. But tell me about, man, this cigar. Like I said, it's been a journey. You've been doing for years, but kind of tell me where did it start from?
Well, I mean, it's really started from this actually started back in college at UNT. And what happened was I was dealing with one of my classmates, and my classmates took me up to a place called Up and Smoke.
Yeah,
and it was at Golden Triangle Mall.
Yeah.
And so he introduced me to it, and I don't smoke cigarettes. And and so it's one of those deals where I was looking for something to add an extra little kick to my style. A little something just to be different, trying to be a little hoity-toity. You know how we do it, Pool.
Yes, sir.
But little did I know that once I got involved in it, it became more of a passion where I have cigars up to this day. I have 3 humidors at home right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And hey, so talk about now. There are people that go to Cigar International. There are people that may have their humidors. This man at a destination wedding Destination wedding in Playa de Carmen, Mexico.
Oh yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
After the wedding, had a full out bar of cigars. Now, like I said, I don't smoke cigars, but I smoked one that night.
Yeah. No, that was a great experience.
Hand roll. I got pictures somewhere to prove it.
No doubt.
And a station, they rolling up hand rolling, so everybody got their own hand rolled cigars, and we're outside on the patio in our tuxes, and the women in their gowns smoking cigars.
It was a surprise that Misha actually set up for me, because she knows my passion for cigars.
Get you a wife that can pull out a cigar lounge for you. That can make us. That can curate. Now I got to pull out a word that can curate a cigar lounge. Now we had her on too.
That's right.
It's a complicated job. It's a complex job. We had her on. That one is on the old YouTube. I can't bring that one over. Sorry, Misha.
It was a good one.
It was a great one. And
I'm very proud of her.
You know what? I got to give it up to Misha. Misha was the first episode that exploded for me. You remember that?
That is right. I wasn't going to brag,
Misha,
but that's right.
Yeah, Misha was the first.
I was starting to get concerned. I know she's an attractive little chocolate bunny. I was like, man, are these Negroes hitting her up because of that? What's really going on here? Because I'm entertaining too. I'm getting jealous.
Hey,
I'm like, what the heck?
Women gonna push the needle way more than me. And either you gotta say something crazy about women, or you gotta have women to really push the needle.
Is that the way it goes?
That is, man, yeah, because that's the hot button to emotional views. So if you press a hot button emotionally, you can charge up your views, or if you get a nice woman.
But you know, I do want to add this too, is that another thing, part of it also is that I hate being in situations where we're with the other people, and you're not knowledgeable. And that's one thing that my father, my cousin Eric, they always encourage that. Only thing missing, I need to start golfing. My Uncle Mitch is a big golfer, but you really don't want to be in a situation where you go somewhere and they say, let's do this, and you don't have a go-to. Yeah, and you look like you are not with it.
Or uncultured.
Yeah, very true.
Look uncultured.
So that's kind of what it's about also.
And because I like that too, because I'm one that's like you, pride myself on knowing a little bit about everything.
Everything. You know, that's how we roll.
I know a little bit about.
I know a little bit. I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about everything.
I know just enough. And my wife was like, and the Negro sound confident enough to think.
Yeah,
you know what he's talking about.
Tricking you out a little bit.
Tricky like you. Like she's like, Lord, be able to talk like
that's
you.
Right.
I know you don't know nothing about that.
Yes.
Hey man, I read and I study and I watch a lot of videos and I listen a lot. And I listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson a lot.
I love Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I listen to something from him.
The physicist, he is incredible.
Because I love stargazing.
He is incredible.
That's neither here nor there. So cigars. So tell me, what is your favorite cigar right now?
Well, okay, so I will say this, and it's not really a good culture thing as a cigar person. I love right now, Drew Estates is a company that has several different brands of cigars. Matter of fact, the Biden administration, they were really scared of it because the Biden administration was really trying to rule out flavored cigars because the fear of children liking the flavor.
Oh,
and I get it, but it was still a bad time. So that's why I like the whole balance of back and forth, but we'll come back to that later on. But my favorite right now is Acid Cuba.
Okay.
And I encourage anybody that if you're going to go to Cigar International, which is very popular, I laugh now when I go to Cigar International every now and then. I laugh how many people are out there, and I find myself educating people on the do's and don'ts of cigars.
The etiquette. Cigar etiquette.
Because you get to the point where you're doing like a Maduro, and you can't go from Maduro, to other types because it's just the flavor of the evening. But right now, Drew Estates Acid Cuba would be my favorite. If I was going to be in a more intimate circle, I would say go to Romeo and Julieta, because that way you're getting that Nicaraguan actual wrap with a Dominican actual tobacco.
I like it.
And the key thing I would say also about cigars is that our people, as black people, in the African diaspora that we are, okay, we help cultivate the art of cigars and tobacco, okay?
Really?
When it came from the actual islands of Dominican Republic and you talk about Cuba,
educate us,
which is actually the king of cigars, you would say.
Cuba.
But when you get to America, Virginia is actually where we had a lot of our ancestors work in the fields, in the tobacco fields. So you had tobacco in Virginia, and you had more of a cotton capitalism going down farther south. Okay.
Okay.
So when it comes to the actual cigar,
I need to cross my legs.
we might need a cigar right now, there, sir. I don't know.
God damn.
Stick your damn pinky out. There you go. But when it comes to the actual cigar industry, again, like most things, black people have a huge part in that.
Yeah. Well, tell me then, what is your alcohol of choice for your cigar? Because I know they're paired together.
Yeah.
Okay. Part of this.
Sure.
So is the wine, the cheese, and the alcohol, or is that just wine and cheese, or wine, cheese, and then cigar?
No.
So then it is just wine and cigar, or alcohol and cigar.
Right. So, like, for instance, you had a great occasion over one of Rap's birthday parties where Edie's, Constance Pullum, look her up. She's fantastic. She did a charcuterie board the size of a freaking 6-foot table. So she's gonna go out for her nephew. But the thing about it, when you start talking about wines and cheeses, you start getting more into Europe, okay? And pairing of what types of wine, what types of cheese, excuse me. And when you start talking about cheese, it goes everywhere from Italy to France. So, I mean, it can get out there. And then, of course, your meats.
Yes.
So you got your pairings there. Then also what they've done also when it comes to whiskey is normally your go-to, or a cognac with your cigar.
With your cigar.
Okay, so whiskey or cognac. That's normal.
Gotcha.
Now, it depends on your, on kind of like your level of experience. You might want to do a mixed drink or whatnot, but if you want to dip that end of that of your cigar into that Hennessy or Cavassier,
they be dipping.
You can dip it. Yeah, what you do is you take your cigar, dip it into the VSOP Remy Martin, for instance, which I love to do.
My God.
And then what you can do, you put it in your mouth, light it up, and you get the flame, the heat from the tobacco, then infuses with the smoke with the actual cognac. Then does a nice little swirl in your mouth going forward, and it makes it more of an experience.
Now this ain't dipping your Swisher Sweet,
not Swisher Sweet,
in your Crown
or
Royal.
your Greenwood or wherever backwoods.
No, man, this is high cotton stuff.
High cotton stuff.
God, I never knew. Like Tony Baker, I never knew.
And you figure, really, that's why they make sniffers the way they are.
Oh,
sniffers are made for you to sniff the cognac, but also it's made so you also can know what to dip for your cigar. That's just part of what it is.
Now, golly, I came in with the whole lineup of stuff to talk about, and this man that came in here and been a subject matter expert tonight.
You gotta be a SME.
God damn, we should have brought Dune in a long time ago. We could start a craft beer show, a smoke stack show.
That might be a good idea. The craft beer. We might need to look at that. Bring me on next time.
I bring you on, and it could be about the journey of you educating me on craft beer.
Yeah, we could do it. I'm down.
I'm
already a subscriber. Why not?
Why not cater to my subscribers? Sheesh, I will be.
Look, I'm a paid subscriber.
Man,
Click that link. And just so you'll know, I used to work at Pepsi.
Pepsi.
So I was one night, we were all over there in the Colony area.
Okay.
And so it was the vice president of operations for Frito-Lay. And so we were coming in, and they were like, "Hey, Damon, we're going to come over and just talk about some things, but let's have a couple cocktails."
Okay.
We ended up being at Cigar International, and it was a slow night. It was like a Tuesday, so it wasn't that busy.
Okay.
But being able to be in that time where we were actually able to go to that giant humidor, and he was like, "David, you ever smoke cigars?" I mean, sure did. Oh, he sure did, sir. I said, hey, would you like me to suggest one for you? See, I pulled the card on him. You're not gonna suggest something for me, sir.
I'm saying something
for you, sir. Because I'm not your like I always say.
Show you that
I'm not your average bear, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that I know a little.
So once I showed him the Romeo and Juliet anniversary, and he had a chance to spark it, he's like, "This is one of my new ones." Okay, so you get to the actual cigar, then you get the anniversary version. It goes so many different levels.
That was your equivalent to golf. That was your golf experience.
And guess what? I mean, I had a chance, and through that experience, they actually expanded my role slightly. And I guess you're right. There it is.
That was your golf experience.
That was my golf experience. There it is.
Man. So that's why it's so good to be versatile.
Versatile.
Man. People get try to laugh about code switching, but my code switching has got me very far in life.
Well, I mean that's what W.B. Du Bois talked about in the souls of black people.
One of my great frat.
Oh yeah, with that Make That Fire.
Make That Fire. We're gonna take a look.
That's what he talks about. He talks about how we are forced as a people to be placed in different situations, and we gotta be able to respond. I encourage everybody to pick that book up. It's a very great book.
Please do so. Man, it's brilliant. Okay, let me see. I left my phone sitting over there. So what I do is two things. We got to get a story before we jump out of here.
Yes.
But what I wanted to ask you is something that we kind of talked about.
Sure.
Do you give your parents more grace now that you are older and kind of in that, we're not over, well, we are in our 40s where we are in our 40s now.
Right.
Back then, it was called over the hill.
Yeah.
But now we're like 40's a new 30 and that kind of thing. So do you the question is, do you give your parents more grace now knowing that what you're going through, remembering that?
I mean, it's a great question because I definitely do. And I really understand the point of how each of one of my siblings actually got a different parent.
That's a great point.
And a good example is this, that my older brother, he's a career criminal, and the thing about it, he's really never really got it right. But the thing about it was, it's not really a fault of my parents, but I will say this, he caught my parents, back when they were smoking marijuana and drinking.
Wow.
When they were younger. He was the firstborn.
Right, firstborn.
Now, then, of course, through that transition, when we finally came to Texas, they stopped all that, and, we're actually, eventually, he was called to the ministry, and, we're at San Emmanuel under the fantastic leadership of Lord Anthony Pullum. And as things grew, I kind of grew up more in that part.
Right.
Then you got my younger brother, which has got the full sanctified version.
You got the all sanctified.
Yeah, because I remember. I mean, they used to call me Radar Feet in Loma Linda, California.
Radar Feet.
Because my parents would have friends over, and my older brother would be running around, but they called me Radar Feet because I would always knock over their whiskey in their cans of beer. So his Air Force buddies would call me Radar Feet.
Radar, because you're finding.
Because I'm finding.
And it blowing up.
And I'm knocking those things over in our home in Loma Linda, California. So when I look at my daughter, well, she is the only child, and then that's debate good or bad or not. But I would definitely say there's no playbook. Mm-hmm. There's no handbook. None. And I look at how I was raised, and I wish I could pull off some things with my daughter that I happen to me, because it made me better. But I try to give the stuff that I know intrinsically made me a better person.
Right. Yeah, man.
What about you?
Man.
What about you? What'd you say?
Yeah, man. I give them all the grace in the world, because looking at like all of the stuff we got going on, what we're doing, it was like they were managing all of that. And I would say, to our parents' credit, they made it look easy.
No doubt about it.
And so I look back and think about, as kind of at this age, my dad was a young preacher in a totally different city.
Yeah.
Preaching, and kind of running this new church with the kind of this young kind of congregation.
Yes.
Preaching, singing, doing all of this stuff with young children, and like, you know, and then that matriculated into him having a day in Denton.
No,
and so it's like,
it.
man, they doing all that, and my mama working for the city of Fort Worth, and then them going back and forth. And so me seeing us grow up and those experiences,
yes,
where my brother, who is 6 grade levels older than me,
right,
he remembers my parents young, where it was just him. They used to go to the movies every Friday night.
Wow.
That kind of stuff, you know, and them being young. My dad was not, when he was born, my dad was not a pastor then. He was known as like more of an activist back then. He wasn't really a pastor preacher, but them being young and kind of that different thing.
Right.
So to where my sister and I being born, my dad was already a pastor preacher.
Because how many years between you and Connie again?
We're only 16 months apart.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like
a year. And
I'm October 77. She's February 79.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're months apart. And so us coming back to back, and really from Mark's perspective as, y'all, I don't get stuff no more.
No, I enjoyed his podcast. He did interview at the library.
Right.
Over at Forest Hill. Dr. Mark Pullum, shout out to him.
At the Forest Hill Library.
Oh, Forest Hill. Shout out to that. It was really introspective.
Yes.
And very clear and honest.
Yes. And it's funny, even being, you know, a younger brother, hearing that. It's a different.
What was your take on that? Because I was, I'm gonna get you cold.
Yeah, he gonna put me on
because when he talked about the whole thing about being like an only child and having such a separation between you and him.
Yes.
What is give me your take on that? Because I found that very transparent.
That was, and so I had to then look at life from his perspective, because we generally only see it from our perspective.
Sure.
So to look at it as him then saying, well, getting to this place, brand new, no family. I got a brother and sister that's so much younger than me, and I'm the only kid, no family. And so it was like, well, dang, you did kind of have it hard.
Right.
Because you were, in essence, the smart kid trying to fit in, especially in kind of like Fort Worth, where it is real city and family involved.
Okay.
To where if you don't have family, you're not from there, everybody look at you in the same way Denton is. Right. You know, people look at you funny like, it's only one of you, and it's 8 or 9 of us that are cousins and brothers and sisters, and so and then so his perspective, it was really insightful to kind of hear it, how and really gave me some insight on how he thinks and sees things now.
I love that
because
it's flowed over.
Yeah, and how he's always been the big brother protector, because he's always had to be it.
Always.
And he was like, well, I had to protect myself, and then I got to protect them. So I was like, it was insightful. So I'm like, I had to go back and get some of that perspective. The doctor taught me.
Dr. Pullum.
Yeah, Dr. Pullum taught me. Well, yeah, man. It's that perspective of giving your parents more grace. Because everybody does grow up different. Because I even look at now how I'm having with my children being so spread apart.
Right.
Chance is 20 and Rap is 4.
I love
about
that.
to be 5. Chance has now kids. I'm a grandfather.
Your grandfather now is
and
great.
now
I freaking love
Rap
it.
has, 5-month-old niece and nephew. You're twins. First shot out, you have twins.
Love it. Who does that, right?
Who does that? So
twins
he was like,
out.
so practically being that close, they're gonna grow up cousins more than uncles. So we said he's gonna be a kunkle.
A kunkle, I love that.
Kunkle. So cousin, uncle. So he'll be a kunkle. So it kind of works out with KJ being 2, almost 2. So you got Rap, KJ, and then the twins.
The next generation goes forward.
So they'll grow up closer with like cousins and stuff. The what we didn't have, because you kind of grew up the same way too.
Same way.
You didn't have cousins. It was just family.
It's family.
So that's a different dynamic. So okay, another question I had was, are we now? We used to talk about white people, and that's white people stuff.
Sure.
Are we now those things, or some of those things do now apply to us? And the example is family meetings.
Right.
Do people have family meetings? Now we say white people used to go to counseling.
Right.
Now we are going to therapy.
That's true.
I mean, mental health awareness. We're still in Mental Health Awareness Month, right?
That's right.
In that May, Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah, that's right.
So what do you kind of think of that? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think when people talk about systematic racism, you talk about being cut out of resources and what you're actually able to do for your family. I think naturally, as we get more part of that American dream, which comes with more resources, we're then able to do things to take care of ourselves, like counseling.
I like that perspective.
Like being able to go to one of my favorite places, Ocean Prime. You know what I'm saying?
I love some Ocean Prime. So, give me a medium steak.
Oh yeah. So I think when you start talking about
in essence, are you kind of saying because we aren't struggling to take care of our needs, some of our wants can be taken care of?
Many people are. Some people argue, and this is not one of my arguments because I don't like it, but I think it's still valued. Some people argue that it's not racism; it's really casteism. And what that means is when you go to India, there's a caste society that you'll never
get out of.
Right.
Yeah, you never break that.
So, and I forgot the author. She wrote a great book, African American woman, a great book about casteism, where to go back to your point that it's not really so much a racism deal to certain things, racism, but actually come down to money and access because the wealth gap is so huge between African Americans and our white counterparts.
Yeah.
So when you start thinking about doing white things, it's not really white things. It's really access to more money things.
Right. So we're able to be open to more things because. And I think it is more of now. We're not so much worried about meeting our just basic needs.
There you go.
That we are that generation to where our parents kind of had a little. They weren't living in shacks.
There you go.
You know, they weren't living in outhouses.
Right.
And they had education. Our parents had education, so we were living better.
Right.
And so now, you know, our parents can be free thinkers and that kind of stuff, even though they would, slap us. But now we have more access to more sources. Our parents went to college. Now we went to college, and now we are at a level to where our kids can ask us why.
Well, I don't know about that yet. So I let Taylor can ask her mother why. I told her, you do what I tell you to do. Misha's a lot more progressive than me. I got a lot more Bonnie and Reggie Singer in me. Look, I told Taylor, you do that wise stuff with your mom. Little Negro, when I tell you to do something, Negro, do it. Hear none of that dang wise stuff.
Hey.
I don't care what your thoughts are.
Hey.
We'll get your thoughts later on.
Hey, y'all sing the praises of Reverend Lord. They pull them all you want.
You want to do the white thing?
But if I ever said, you seen that Ike Turner,
eat cake.
That Ike Turner look.
Eat the cake, anime.
Say eat the cake.
Eat the cake, Lord Robert.
But if you wanted a disfigured face, say ask why.
I can imagine asking water. Look here, I can imagine asking water my parents, let alone Reverend Lap. I can imagine that.
Why wasn't in our vocabulary? Why was not? And now, hey, we let our kids. They need to have a voice. Like,
that's it.
Your voice is what I give you.
That's it.
Oh my! It was just. It's so that it just makes me ask that question. That's why I asked, because our kids have an opinion.
They got an opinion.
We want to know.
And early.
What are your feelings?
You know,
how do you feel? Like, man, like, hey, he feel what I tell him to feel.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think with that ideology, our parents did teach us two things. They taught us that don't nobody care about your feelings.
I think
for
that's the key right there.
And that and more of it's the job got to be done.
That's the other part.
It don't matter.
That's the other part.
And so they didn't give us the option of back talk because we knew in the world we couldn't do that. They really knew that in the world we couldn't do that. So they were preparing us for that. And so I take it, man. It is what it is.
I mean, you think about it. Since 2000 and I think 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every day.
Yes, I remember those. You were telling me about those numbers.
So
we're living in that time where they getting up out of here.
Yeah, like Japan sells more adult diapers than children diapers right now.
Really?
They're in a cataclysmic wreck of population. And that's what's kind of freaking out America and everything else. So
because we're hitting that too, and we're hitting what you were talking about, that gap of knowledge.
There you go.
That gap, and you can see
out the door. Pull them.
Oh, you can see.
And as America, we're in trouble.
We are, and in every sector, it ain't just.
No doubt about it.
What's sad is now your doctors, but your mechanic, just your people. I mean, the seamstress now. We went to the cleaners was under new management. It was like, who are y'all?
There you go.
Who are you? And everybody's just, all these baby boomers are leaving those jobs, like you were saying, and then their kids don't want it. And so people are just buying them up, and they don't know what they're doing. Your doctor now is this young person that is just trying stuff on you. Man, it's crazy.
And so when you mix in the whole concept of what we were saying earlier about children asking the why, okay, the why is important, but the doing is more. So what's happening in America going forward in the next 20 to 30 years, and that's why AI, yes, is scary, but then again, it's necessary.
It is.
Because we're going to have to be able to, how can America be able to get that gap? And as we all know, America is falling as a superpower.
We got to quickly close that gap.
We got to use other resources.
Yeah, and I think, and it is true, how I look at it, AI, we need it because that's the information gathering.
No doubt.
And it can do it faster and process it faster than
and if you're not using AI, guys, right now, please start using it. You're losing.
Get the $19.99 chat GPT. Just get it.
It's
or use the free one.
Use it, whatever.
Start
using it.
But do it, if nothing more than to feed it information on how to help your people behind you. Because that's all it's doing.
Yes.
Everything you put into it is going to help it learn and get better to where your kids will have a little AI bot teaching it how to speak because they won't know how.
Yeah, exactly.
Or writing in cursive for it because they won't know how.
They're not going to know how.
They're not going to know how. Yeah. So the robot is going to do it and all of that. So you're going to need to be feeding into that.
No doubt.
I think, okay, so I got to get a story out you.
Okay.
So, give me one. So this is another us moment. So we got a million of these. So you want to give any us moment?
Man, I'm trying. You put me on the spot.
Oh, so
you have one?
Either we could talk about the when we went to the park, not the park, where do you go? The Bible camp, the glasses.
Bible camp. Was that Camp Poplazel?
Camp Poplazel.
Oh my God!
Camp Poplazel.
Because somebody grabbed my glasses, right?
Yeah, when they trying to leave off the bus, man. Yeah,
my boy Poole was there.
I beat them hands up real good.
I'll tell you right now. So I remember that because the only reason why I was able to go is because you were going.
Really?
Yes, I never told you that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because my parents were hesitant about letting me go off to a camp because the camp was a week long, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were there a while.
Maybe 2 weeks.
It was a week for sure.
Week for sure, maybe a little more. We were gone.
I know we spent the night, a few nights.
Yeah,
and we were young too.
Right,
and it wasn't Black Post necessarily.
No, it was not. It was not. Forget necessarily. We're talking about First Baptist, guys. Maybe second.
And so it was like,
it was no missionary. Okay?
Yeah, and think about it. In this age, there are no cell phones.
No cell phones.
So it's only getting to a payphone and you're going to real camp. So you drove off to this campsite, and there ain't no phones. And so I can see now the hesitation of our parents.
No, and the thing about it, and we can go to the story, but I tell you, that's what our bond as friends.
It goes
back so far. And the thing about it is that we've had each other's back. And I will say this, we can come back to Hobbsdale, but I want to make this statement on record for prosperity and for eternity. I remember when we did the whole How Real, So Real.
Yes, sir.
And I've told you this many times. One thing about Pullum that I really appreciate about Pullum is this, and this is more of a me story that I can really say, is that even when he crossed over in Omega Sci-Fi, one thing about it, he never dumped his friends.
Man.
And I've seen guys cross over Kappa Alpha Psi when it was allowed on UNTA during that time, but that's a whole other deal. A-Phi A, I've seen, even IOTAs.
Yeah.
I've seen them dump people that they've been with in order to go with the status quo.
That's true.
And one thing that I say about Lloyd Robert Pullum is that what he did was he actually was able to get us even more involved in certain spaces that we wouldn't.
Man,
and I always respect him for that. And it's really it's a test of character.
It is
for a person, because there's only a few moments in life that you're tested by your character that can last a lifetime.
That's true.
And it can have lifetime damages. And I tell you, those are one of those moments.
Man, appreciate that, dude. Because we'll just stay there. Because when I just felt like you bring your people along with you.
No doubt.
When you go, you got good people, and you don't just dump them along the wayside because you got a little circle of friends.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just grabbed the new guys and felt out those that were cool, and y'all gonna mingle with the good people I already know.
Right.
And we moving together.
Right.
We all gonna be a family. Remember we would go places as with my frat, and Dune and Jolly would always be with me.
Right.
People were thinking they were the bruh.
They definitely thought I was
going to
make it.
He was like, hey, Vaughn would always be, as soon as people come, hey, when we just home, Vaughn slow, we just home. That's just my homeboy. I ain't, that's just my homeboy.
You got to get Jolly up here.
Yeah.
That would be a wild piece podcast.
That would be.
Because that big row there is something else.
Man,
it's so freaking funny.
So Vaughn was my roommate. We went to high school.
Oh my
together.
God. I told him me time.
Man.
That'd be great. You got to do that.
Roommate
you got to do that.
Texas.
You got to do that.
We got a bunch of great. So maybe we can get Vaughn up here and tell that story of the Holiday Inn.
There you go. We got to get him up here for Holiday Inn.
What Holiday Inn?
Everybody, look here. Just stay tuned. We're going to get Devon Jolly up here. We're going to do that.
Hey, so look, man, we won't keep y'all.
Yeah.
We've had you a nice time, nice little time. And just, hey, for my dismount, I'll just further on Men Talk Extras, talking about men as being leaders, being leaders of the pack. You got to stand up and take what you do. I told a story about a dog run, and it's really more a story about being a leader and being underappreciated, or feeling like your spouse or your wife always listens to somebody else. You may have had an idea or a thought, and then somebody else tells them that same thing, and it's like a new epiphany that she never heard before.
Right.
But being a leader is like that, man. It's about taking those wins, those losses, those ups and those downs, and putting it all together to get to the ultimate goal of raising your family to a new level.
That's it.
I said, men, we are gardeners. Ultimately, you were put in a garden, and with that, you must cultivate. So, if you want your family to look like something, then you have to raise and grow, feed, fertilize, water your wife, raise her up to a level.
That's right.
To be a a virtuous woman that we talked about. Because that goes with a man being in his proper place.
Yes.
Then to assist the woman to be where she should be, and then together y'all help raise a family. That start with you men, and you got to do it. So to be a leader, you got to lead with love, with listening, with understanding, and first lead with respect.
No doubt.
Respect your wife and your woman in your life, and that's how you can do that thing.
Love it.
So we out of here. Episode 21.
In francais.
With Doom Daddy
In the house.
of the Hemp No here.
Yes.
Man, y'all make sure y'all like, subscribe, and go hit up the Hemp No, and we'll see y'all next time.
Salute.
Yes, sir.